Hey there, and welcome to Big Blue Fantasy. And today I have the great honor and privilege to introduce one of my dear friends who's also a die-hard Giants fan in another way, in another polar opposite way, but he's still a die-hard Giants fan. And now the new season holder to the Giants game. So exciting stuff, big things happening. Allowed me to introduce Abhijit.
You got it. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for having me, man. It's an honor. I always enjoy talking to you, as you said, right? Like we have different views, but we're crazy fans, you know. And yeah, man, it's exciting. Exciting years coming up. I'm excited. I think hopefully, we got the wide receiver, man. I'm just excited about that one. Like
Yes, Malik Nabers.
Yeah.
Yes. Since our boy OBJ left.
Yeah, exactly. Since 13 left, there was no wide receiver, man.
No, before we get into all the changes and everything, I want to let everybody know why you're a Giants fan. Like, it could be as simple as you like the color blue, but
right.
I want to know your earliest memory of what made you a Giants fan and who did, if it was a player or something.
So, absolutely, yeah. So, I became a Giants fan when I was growing up in India. My cousin's husband, so my cousin and my husband, they would come to India every day. They used to have a store in Jackson Heights. So the first thing he got me was the Giants cap, right? We call it cap, like hat. And I always loved the logo, and I'm like, oh, that's New York, like I had no idea it was about Giants, right? And then when I asked him, I'm like, hey, sometimes you wear that white looking hat, and sometimes you bring this one, and I'm like, what's the difference? He goes like, oh, these are the team's hat. And I'm like, I love this NY. Which team is that? And he goes like, that's New York Giants. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, this is American football. Like, he had to specify that to me because in India, football is soccer. And I'm like, oh, okay. So is it like a local league? And he's like, yeah, it's in America. They play the football, but it's a little bit different. And then he used to bring me newspaper cutouts where it shows like the Giants details, and I would kind of read. And then he started bringing me VHS tapes to watch the game. And I'm like, oh man, this is not football. I'm like, they don't even use feet. I mean, why do they call it football? And then he explained me a little bit because he wasn't like a fan, but he would know the game because he had to sell the stuff. He had his store, so he had a basic understanding. He gave me the basic understanding, and I started watching the game. And he used to bring like the old VHS, so it was all about LT and Carl Banks and all those players. Like it's all about defense. And that's how I became Giants fan. And I'm like, man, this LT guy, number 56, it's amazing. Like he's
a GOAT.
So the GOAT is how I became Giants fan.
It's crazy how you mentioned VHS and it just shows our age. Because I'm pretty sure they're like, what is a VHS? Like, what is that? It's a convenience store?
Yeah.
So the fact that you actually watched it in the most old school manner, I mean, and then the fact that you became a Giants fan just by, I guess, sheer coincidence that your cousin, your family member happens to be from here and just like, just introduce you to some unknown world that now you're just in love with.
100%, yeah. And it became like more and more. Like once I moved here and I started watching the game, I'm like, man, this is fun. And then I moved, so I was in Canada for 5 years and then I moved here. When I moved in 2004 is the year where Eli was drafted. So I get to see his entire career from the get-go. So, I'm also, I'm a big Eli fan also. So that's kind of like, you get that personal connection. There you go. Yeah. You get that personal connection with the guy. And then, I mean, growing up, getting old, watching him, learning how he presents himself, it's just the whole brand, like the brand he represented, like the class, the way you handle the media, the way you talk to people, it just...
The media especially.
Yeah, like the way he was talking to media is like, he never threw anybody under the bus. He took responsibility, kind of showed the loyalty to the brand. And I think that I have so much respect for that, right? Like, he knew there are certain things offensive lines were not doing it, or the run game wasn't that good, whatever it is. Like he just said, I have to play better. And I think that just represents Giants itself, like, as a whole legacy that he carried. And this year is 100th year, right? So I think that makes a huge impact on people. Like maybe the younger generation can kind of learn from it that, there is a class that is represented by Giants. Like when the name New York Football Giant comes, there is a class. Like, you get attached, you get attracted to that. So that's something very, very special to me.
I mean, I think we're old enough to understand when New York Giants considered themselves in this classiest organization. And lately, it hasn't been for the past decade. And that's what people remember, and rightfully so, because 10 years now in this era is a long time.
Oh, absolutely.
The world is completely different in 10 years than it was every 20, 30 years ago. So you becoming a fan over 20 years, that is one thing that is incredible. Same as me. I became a fan, same reason. It's more so TC coming here, knowing what he accomplished in Jacksonville when he was there.
Yeah.
And then the Giants, actually, that's when, even though Michael Strahan was there, Tiki Barber, they were all there. You had Shockley, Steve Smith. You have so many players back in the day under TC, and TC was able to just control the Giants. And when Eli was drafted, and we're old enough to remember by the third year, Eli was being written off by the media and saying
people were burning jerseys and stuff.
Sucks. Why is he here? He's a shell of his brother. They were talking about Arch Manning. They were talking about everything. Like New York media sold him.
Oh yeah.
And then he wins the ship.
Yeah, and then they flipped. Like it was just 1 year.
1 year.
Just 1 year.
1 year.
Yeah. And I still remember people used to burn jerseys in the parking lot. Like, oh my God, we gave up so much. We gave up players and draft capital. What did we do? And then, man, the way he turned around, and then I don't think so. There was a single player who hated Eli. They just became his fan.
The media did.
Yeah, media always does, right? Like we know media is gonna get whatever they wanted to try to get the traction, the clicks, whatever draws attention to them. That's their job. But from the fan perspective, I think people can still debate about he didn't have the best career, except the 2 Super Bowl and the playoff runs and blah blah blah. But I don't think so. Anybody hated him. Like everybody was just like, yeah, Eli was good. We could have done even better with him. If we had
Cowboy fans hated him because
of course, no, from Giants point
and Green Bay Packer fans and Tom Brady.
Yeah,
there's people. Yeah,
yeah. His videos are always entertaining to see. But I think from Giants fan perspective, I think he just made the mark.
He's the greatest.
Yeah,
he's the greatest. I will ride for him, and he's honestly. He's was it nominated for Hall of Fame first ballot this year, right? I don't know if nominated, but he's eligible.
He's eligible. Yeah.
He's easily getting it.
He's getting it.
If you see the history and all the players that are there, yes, they are good players that are eligible for this. But comparing resumes, like even the great Kurt Warner who played this game, Eli's better than him in a lot. In wins, Eli has more playoff wins than Rodgers, than Brett Favre, than legendary quarterbacks that are in Hall of Fame. Eli's getting it. We all know this. Yeah, he's getting it easily.
I always say that people can argue on the stats, on the wins and everything, but there's one thing you can't argue. If you talk about Tom Brady, you can't finish discussion of Tom Brady without having Eli Manning. And that itself just eligible for Hall of Famer. Like what happened to Tom Brady? Well, he only lost to Eli, twice. So right there, it's such an important part of the history that you can't just say, well, man, we're not going to give it him. Like that just leaves the legacy of Eli Manning right there, that he beat GOAT twice.
No, but it's also a credit to the history of NFL where I think Eli is part of only 5 people that has won multiple Super Bowl
2 Super Bowls,
rings.
yeah. 2 Super Bowl, both of them Super Bowl MVP.
I mean, and the only person in this era that can actually have the only person besides Tom Brady is Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah.
and Patrick Mahomes is considered the greatest, rightfully so.
Rightfully, yeah.
He's that good,
Mhm.
and I'm not comparing Eli to him, but in terms of what Eli dealt with in his entire career, I would say out of his prestigious career, at least 65% of it was hate from the media.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then the other
But
thing
one
is
thing
like
he never did was gotten booed. He never got booed.
He
That's
never
one
got
thing
booed,
I know
yeah.
he never got
Yeah.
booed.
And then the other thing is you also have to understand our division, NFC East, is one of the toughest. Like there was no time
Correct.
where all 4 teams or 3 teams were bad. There were always 2 really strong teams. Like always. It's whether it's Giants Cowboys or Cowboys Eagles or Eagles Giants.
Team,
Like there's always a strong sense that these 2 teams going to be battling, right? If you see New England Patriots, they had Jets, they had Bills, and they had what's the third one?
Dolphins.
Dolphins was like kind
But
of
no,
up
Patriots
and down.
owned that division for 20 years.
Yeah.
They owned that division
They
for 20
ruled
years.
that division, and then Jets were not doing that good. They had maybe one playoff appearance.
Yeah, with Mark Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez, right?
They
Like that
went
was
to
only one.
the divisional
Yeah, and then that's about it. I don't
2009.
think so. Dolphin was able to keep up with them, and then we know the Bills Mafia history; they were really bad. So the road,
Bills are cursed.
yeah. So if you see the road to success for Tom Brady, and I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm not saying he was bad or anything. It's just it became a little bit easier, where NFC East was always an uphill battle. Like if we see last 20 years of the NFC East divisional champion, they're hardly consistently winning. Like it's maybe 2 years Cowboys, 1 year
Yeah,
Eagles,
there's
Giants.
rarely any
Like it's
repeat. Yeah.
always changing. And then if you see the history of AFC East, you have Tom Brady for like 20 years, and that's the difference. Like that's how good their team was and everything was good, but at the same time the division was a little bit weaker than what we have in NFC East.
Yeah. Now it's the AFC West now with
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes ruling it.
Exactly. Now he's taking in his division.
No, rightfully so. Now, Eli, it's no matter what anybody says, especially Cowboy fans or Eagle fans, Eli ruled.
Yeah.
Especially when he's there. When it mattered, when he took his team to the playoffs, he
Always.
finished the job.
Showed up. Yep, he always showed up. It was completely different when it comes to playoffs. Eli was a completely different person. Like he always showed up.
Okay, now let's get to the fun stuff. Now, since you've been a fan for over 20 years, best decision easily Eli.
Yep, 100%.
Easily. I mean, we can't compare Lawrence Taylor because
History.
we weren't there in that history. We were born and we were very young in that history.
Yeah.
But Eli would be the worst decision the team has made.
The worst decision. Do you want to go like far back or like in recent?
Let's do recent since I think we lost a lot of viewers at VHS.
All right. I would say the worst decision was I'll give it to the OBJ trade. I would say because we paid him, and I think I don't see why would you do that, right? You paid him and then you traded him, and I get it why they did it. There was some issues behind the doors. I personally think if you paid him, that means you are on some kind of a agreement with him. You could have cleared that sour taste somewhat, after you paid him. So I would say that kind of did not set well overall with
It set our offense back.
Yeah, it did. And
Okay.
it also
I
set
think
our
the worst
fan base-
decision I think the Giants made was when they let go of Tom Coughlin.
Yeah, I think, but that's again, I was just looking from the player perspective. But if you see it overall, then I would put number one as
Because that rippled down the effects. Because
Yeah,
when
but I
TC
think-
got eliminated, because the wrong person said, we all
Right.
knew. Every single fan that is actually the fan of the Giants and the game knew Jerry Reese got lucky. He got so lucky with a lot of his draft picks. His middle rounders, what Giants were actually known for, were to build the raw prospects, build them up, and make them good. Like, look at players like Justin Tuck, Michael Strahan. These are all second-round players that are
second, third, even Bavaro. Mark
these
Bavaro
are
was
like
fourth-round pick back in the
Mark
days. Right?
Bavaro, fourth-round pick, the greatest tight end in New York Giants history.
Yeah.
And we have people, first-rounder Jeremy Shockley, who still didn't cross that road.
Exactly.
So we have a history with Ernie to make and break these prospects into great, not 100%, but we had a high risk.
Yeah.
Ever since Jerry Reese, the turnover rate of our draft picks was so negative.
Yeah. I think when they got rid of TC, I think they should have paired it up. Like, they kind of made him as a scapegoat, but I personally thought they would have just said, hey, look, it's not working out. It's not TC or it's not Reese. It's just combined. It's just not working out. We need to change here. And they should have
how they did with
both of them together.
And Judge at the end.
And then just get the completely fresh restart. Like, they hold it on to Reese. Maybe he promised that, hey, let's try. And then he did try in 2016, but again, it just didn't work out. And I think that also set us at least 3-4 years back with the caps and the contracts that he wrote.
Oh man, let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
I think Dave Gettleman's hiring was probably as bad as Tom Coughlin's hiring.
Yeah. I think he was a good scout. We both agreed on that, but the contract was
he knew
horrible.
Talent. He just
knew talent.
He just didn't know how to negotiate. He didn't know how to get the right fit for the team. I think the way he looked at it was like beer goggles. He's like, ooh, this person was good on this team, so he should be good on our team.
And I think his biggest problem was the coaching, right? Like, the coaches he got, I don't think so he was on the same page with them. Like, what we saw on Hard Knocks between Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen, they're so in sync, right? Like, they know, they can finish each other's sentence. Like, how...
And the families are, like, the wives together are best friends. Like,
exactly.
That bond, and I guess it comes because they work together in Buffalo and they have the whole history. So it's not only just the 3 years they were Giants, they have plus 5-6 years.
Yeah. But again, that's like more on the personal note. Like, when it comes to business, right? Like Giants, footballs, like, that's when sharing the vision, having the same understanding, same game plan, same goal, it's hard. And I think when you have both the GM and the coach on the same page, I think it becomes easier to achieve your goals. I don't think so that was the case with Dave Gettleman, because he got three coaches and all three failed. Like, he initially had Pat Shurmur, then he got rid of them. We got Dallas's the red head clapper.
No, we honestly, Dave Gettleman, I think his failure was not changing with the times.
Yeah. I think
we had Ben McAdoo. This is one thing that all Giants fans, especially that follow, we had Ben McAdoo as our coach one time.
Yeah.
And he was begging.
He wanted to
begging.
Yeah.
Begging. And Dave Gettleman did not move up. And Kansas City.
No, that was Reese, though. That was Jerry Reese.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So Jerry Reese
didn't
and
move.
he was begging. And that's one thing that I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes would have succeeded with us. But imagine if he did.
Yeah.
Imagine we had an opportunity. If he had the opportunity to have a great player, oh my God.
But understand this, like, if Patrick Mahomes was with Giants, he sat 1 year behind Alex Smith, and look what he did. Imagine sitting behind Eli.
But it's also the Andrew Reid effect, man. It's also I'm not saying that. Like, I'm not saying Alex Smith is a great quarterback. He was check down Charlie.
But behind that, even though he was not as good as other quarterbacks, with whatever he knew and he passed on to Mahomes, that kind of molded him. Imagine Eli molding him would have been even better. I would say, like, he would have been even.
I mean, to that point, I don't know if it's just the quarterback that can get that credit. Because
of course, coach is number one.
Rightfully so. Now, let's just look at it this way. We had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. We knew Brett Favre never helped Rodgers.
Yeah.
He said it. Yeah. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
Yeah.
We know that Rodgers didn't help Love. So I'm pretty sure a quarterback sitting back and watching and digesting and understanding how a certain play is broken by looking at a professional, it's like a cheat code.
Yeah.
It definitely helped.
Yeah.
But I truly truly give all the credit to Andy Reid.
Oh, 100%, man. Look at the consistency he has with Patrick Mahomes. The moment he went to Chiefs,
Even with Michael Vick back in the day.
Yeah, same thing, right? Like, he was very consistent with his players. The evaluation process, the guidance, the teaching, you name it. I think even when he was with Eagles, I always respected Andy Reid. I'm like, this is a good coach.
We actually respected him. We respected him because we feared him.
Yeah, and then he was a good coach. It just, we got lucky a couple of times, and
McNabb choking and stuff. Yeah.
But once he moved to the Chiefs, he truly showed the world that, look, what's his capacity, like what he's capable of doing. Like, he's amazing. Having that consistency in your coaching, doesn't matter OC and DC, they can come and go, but like your head coach, because main vision comes from him, right? If you have that consistency for any player, I think they will develop better. And I think that was the biggest problem we have in last 5 years. It's just
not the O-line.
It was that?
Not the O-line.
O-line's like what, 14 years, 13 years issue.
No, okay. So now, let's get to a little bit more depressing things. Let's talk about the free agency people leaving. And I think there's only two to talk about. It's not really more. One person that's dead to us, Saquon Barkley, and McKinney.
McKinney, yeah.
One thing, when McKinney was leaving, even before he left, I for some reason believed, even though he deserved to get paid, not as much as he got paid.
Right.
Giants always had the luck of drafting and producing a good safety.
Safeties, yeah. I agree.
And we have had that luck, and now we're looking at those players getting paid on other teams. I think 2 of them got paid this year. 3 of them actually.
3 of them, yeah.
So even Julian Love, we're seeing is so many. So the ripple effect of Giants training safeties is always there. So I am excited about Nubin.
Yep, I agree. Yep.
And I think he's going to just excel. So now let's talk about this bastard that's running in the background. Who's going to be running for the fucking Eagles, who I fucking used to love and still kind of do, but I dislike him because the fucking
Eagles.
He went to Eagles.
I think that's probably what most of the people are upset about. Like, why would you choose Eagles? And again, from Hard Knocks, we pretty much understood like Joe Schoen had a walkaway number, and probably they already presented that in 2022. He didn't want to.
His walkaway number was what they presented earlier.
Yeah,
same exact number.
3 years, 25. I think 12 and a half a year. I think that was their number.
Yeah,
and he wanted more, which I get it. But
if you see the interview, Saquon's like, "Oh, I wanted the first 2 years fully guaranteed."
Yeah, I mean, he got 2 or 3 years with Eagles. I think he got 3.
So no. So with Eagles, he got, I think, his contract, if he hits everything with initiatives and everything, with all his extra
like
ones,
14 and a half, I think.
15 something.
15. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, near 15 he's reaching. So the Giants already, when they did the math, and when we got the math, we all understood, because I was upset at that time. I was just like 12.5. I remember Giants offering, because we had a whole heated discussion about this, and we're like, 12.5. Even we agreed, like, I said he should get 14, being the best best offensive player on the Giants, fantasy wise, good too. But with his injury, his age, his toll, running behind the most horrendous O-line for the past decade, and him doing his best, but at the same time, that toll on his body and everything, I don't think it's justified being paid that much.
Agree. I think most of the people, even outside of Giants building, other teams, other media outlet, they're saying that Eagles did pay him more than he was supposed to. I think they overpaid him. But they have a luxury to do that because they have everything else set up. That's when how important that piece or that luxury position is for you, whether it's wide receiver or running back. I think those are the 2 things we always have to remember, that you can build around them, but they can be a very important part of your team. So, once you have offensive line, once you have defensive line, you have quarterback situation figured out, Now
perform.
let's go out and get those luxury pieces. And I think that's what they did. And my take is he did go to Philly because somehow he wants to kind of rub it off on Giants, saying, look,
I mean, he also has the whole history of Penn State.
which is true, yeah. So I mean, I'm sure there is a lot of calculation, not just so that I want to.
I think he's a sore loser. I'm pretty sure he's doing this to stick it. It just
I
so.
think it plays a part in his decision, though. That's what I'm thinking. Like it does play. If there are 5 factors, right? I think one of the factors is that, you know what, I want to stick it to them. I wanted to show that what they did is a mistake. I think that's one of
but
the
it's
factors.
sad because even if he plays these next 3 years with the Eagles, he's not going to be eligible to retire as an Eagle
No.
or a Giant now.
Yeah. I mean, he can still do it if he wants. He can come back. Sign one
No,
year
but the legacy is if
the
he comes
legacy is
back and does
gone.
one
I
more
don't
year.
think so. The legacy is there anymore. I think that's completely gone. It's that was my biggest upset, that he was keep saying that, hey, I wanted to be Giants for life. Then I don't think so. You would care $1 more million in guarantee money. I think at that time you'd be like, you know what? No, I have already started the legacy here. Let me do what I can do to, make it more stronger, leave my mark. That always comes higher than $1 million.
Maybe the way he sees it, and he probably sees it in a realistic way, and he goes, hey, I am injury prone.
Mm-hmm.
I want a fat check.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I'm going to play 2 seasons.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, he only played 2 full
29.
seasons.
He's already 29. Yeah.
He's 27, right?
Is he 27?
He's 27. Yeah.
Whatever. He's in his in running back years with his injury tolls and everything.
like
he
30
is
plus.
an old man.
Yes, he's an old
He's
man.
an old man now.
I mean,
and we have seen it, and not hating, we've seen it as Giants fans that he has lost his burst.
he did. I mean, look, there are only 2 full seasons he played. All the other seasons he was injured. There were issues, so he hasn't played. And of course, as you said, he has kind of started showing the regression. And I think only Frank Gore was the one who was 30 plus and still amazing. And then was the other one, Vikings running back.
Jamal Williams, bro.
Jamal Williams is, but very few. Like how many? Like how many could pull
Not that many. Oh, Adrian Peterson, obviously.
Especially, Adrian Pearson. That was
the GOAT, but the greatest running back probably in our generation. No, but I do agree, and him going to the Eagles, now let's talk fantasy perspective, okay? Because he is now in the best situation he has been. This is a fantasy podcast as well.
Right.
He is technically behind one of the top O-lines, but I still don't like him this year.
On paper. Because they lost
I don't like
Kelsey.
him this year. No, it's not because they lost Kelsey. It's because we know Jalen Hurts is going to take those push touchdowns away from Saquon.
But see, you also have to figure this out also. When we talk from the fantasy perspective, right? Now, it's not only Jalen taking away the touchdown from Barkley, but now Barkley is going to
AJ Brown, Devontae Smith.
Yes, he's going to take stuff away from them, right? Because now they're going to spread it out. They're going to use him in the passing game as well.
I don't know if that's going to be true because they still have Gainwell.
Mm-hmm.
They still have those running backs. Even last year when Swift wasn't doing anything, they still use rotational running backs for different packages.
They will still doing the different package. What I'm saying is in the passing game, they're gonna include Barkley. So even if the Gainesville's in the back,
but then then those targets going from AJ Brown, Devontae
that's
Smith,
what I'm saying.
So I don't know if that's gonna be pleasing in the locker room because I don't think AJ Brown's gonna be like, yo, why am I only getting 2 targets this game? He's not going to be happy about that, especially with the Eagles with the wide receivers are.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw Receivers, the show on Netflix.
Yes, I did.
But their receivers are egotistic as fuck. They're kids.
Yep.
They want to talk shit the whole game.
They won the ball. Yeah. They won the ball.
Like when we saw quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins, Mahomes, Mariota, they all showed the struggle and the intellect and all the toughness when it comes to playing the quarterback position. Receiver was like, I'm the biggest dog. I'm going to fuck him up. You see Kittle going like, yo, I got 3 touchdowns. Yes.
Yeah, I got the 4 and all day.
Yeah, and you see Adams getting mad at Garoppolo, going like, "I only got targeted twice."
Yeah.
They're tough as fuck.
Yeah.
But I think he loses fantasy value, and he's losing the touchdowns for sure because
Absolutely,
Jalen Hurts
yeah.
is taking all those.
Yeah.
He's taking at least, like, he's guaranteed 10 tries at the goal line. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
So that already hurts his touchdowns. Now, if people are like, oh, all his injuries were because the O-line is shit, go back and look at all the videos. All his ACL, ankle, high ankle sprains, everything is when he cuts outside and tries to do too much.
Agree, 100%. Yeah, and then the other thing is he also is a running back who gets you either 2 yards or 20 yards. There's no in between. He can consistently produce 5-7 yards. So what's going to happen is he's going to get you 20 yards into the red zone. Now he's out. Now Gainesville comes back, and if he gets the touchdown or the passing touchdown, they might use the tight end, they might use the wide receiver. They have a lot of options, right? And that's another thing we also remember with the stronger O-line. He will have a yardage, but the touchdown's probably going to get taken away. And I think that's what
I think that's where. Yeah, me too. I think he is definitely in the most safest position he has ever been in his career. I hate to say it, but for him, this is like, the most easiest way he will get. Even like we've seen Eagles O-line, they make 4 or 5 yards of gap separation
easily.
So now let's move on away from sad and depressing things and go towards fun things. Before we get to our gold, what was it? Gold duck neighbors we want to talk about. I know we want to talk about neighbors. I want to talk about the best thing Giants did, and that's not drafting neighbors, is signing and trading for Brian Burns.
100% Spider-Man. Let's go.
I mean, our kids were lucky enough to meet him and everything. And great. He is such a great
nice
person.
guy, man.
Such a nice guy. But the thing we're going to be talking about are his plays and how he's spinning and destroying. He not only Andrew Thomas, who is top 2 left tackle. I will say number 1 because Trent Williams is a little bitch and he gets a lot of penalties, but the refs
too. He's a little bit older.
No, but he gets away with a lot of bullshit. The refs always fucking let him get it.
AT is going to be at the place that he can kind of get away with it. Like if you see Lane Johnson, right? Like we always say, man, he that's a false start, but somehow it's just that's how it works with him. And I think AT has earned that spot that they're going to kind of let it go if it happens.
Well, I'm hoping so. He is top tier left tackle in the entire league. Yeah. Brian Burns, though, man, his clips and his play, and I've seen it too. Oh, what a fast beast! He is so quick.
He's so quick. The moment the ball is snapped, like the way his start is, the bend, the start, it's unbelievable. Like he's powerhouse. Like the moment he starts. Reminds me of some of the moves I've seen from LT. I'm not comparing to LT. I'm just saying that the way he starts, like the way he gets off, it's
Burns needs like a whole line of cocaine and more. But no, I agree. We have not seen this type of speed and an edge, especially coming off the snap, and the way he's conditioned his body to turn in certain moments. Yeah. Incredible to watch, and we are so excited to watch him. At the same time, we're terrified of the O-line.
Oh yeah, see, it's like, what do we celebrate? Do we celebrate that, oh man, we got really good edge, or we're like, oh my god, our line is still not fixed?
I think our defense is actually better than last year.
It is much better, of course. Now KT will put on.
We got Aziz as a backup, who we were all fans of.
Yeah. And so far, he's good, no injuries, fingers crossed.
Yeah, and then we got KT, who's not going to be requiring the attention. Easily could. And he outplayed Mika last year.
Dexter, man.
And Sexy Dexter can never be forgotten. The greatest net tackle in the whole.
He's the best. DT I would rank him number 1 when it comes to DT. He's number 1.
NFL wouldn't. But we definitely would. No, our front D line is incredible. I think our linebackers are good too. And I saw KT as a OLB now, which is fine. Which he's going to be able to play both the positions. We have Okereke, we have McFadden, we have Our safeties are the only thing I need to see out of. But
Pinnock is good. He's picking up pretty good. And then Dane Belton. Dane Belton had a really good
Belton,
camp.
and then now we have Tyler Nubin.
Yeah. But
Then
Belton had a good camp. From what I see and what I heard, he really had a good camp. So like he's definitely starting as a safety.
Oh, so now we have to talk about. I know was Hawkins is the quarterback too. Now our nickel is either going to be Drew Phillips or it's going to be Isaiah Simmons.
Simmons, I don't know what they're going to do with him though, because he's like that Swiss knife. He's the master of none but jackal of all. So how are
he should be a linebacker?
Yeah, but again, I think they're using him all over the places. So I definitely think Phillips is going to be a nickel, and then they moved Darnay Holmes outside.
Oh, they might just basically use him as a hybrid pack. No, man, Holmes. Oh, Holmes pisses me off so much. Oh my God, he hurts the defense and the motivation and the flow so much. Yeah. He's such a bad. I don't know how he's still on the team.
Yeah.
Okay, so O-line, I'm really hoping the O-line gels this year because I know we have a new coach and we have at least 3 new players because we don't know what Evan Neal's is. We heard of him.
So I saw all Daboll's interview and people were like trying to get something out of him, and he was just saying like, we will know when he's ready. We will know when he's ready, right? So there's something serious with Evan Neal because the injury has dragged. Initially, they said he'll be ready for the training camp, which he's not. Then they said he'll be ready for at least the preseason, which they said he's not going to be. So it's definitely something serious. Now, JMS is dealing with different shoulder injuries. It's the same one, but it's different. And when I spoke to him at the training camp, he's like, "Yeah, I'll be back." So at least and the way he said it was very confident. So maybe not the preseason.
We assumed it because when the injury happened, I think even with our right tackle, we knew it's not serious. We know it's just like a little sore or bruise.
He played hurt last year. I'm talking about Evan Neal, and we did see that he was so bad, and I'm pretty sure either he worsened his injury or he's just not able to recover at the speed they anticipated. So we don't know. But from the line, one good thing I am kind of hoping and praying is because the players that we got is the player who worked already with the coach, the O-line coach.
I agree, but that's only one out of...
little edge. I'm not saying that fixes all the issues, but it still gives you a little bit of edge, which may help. And then JSM is in his second year. AT is AT. I mean, we don't have to worry about him. So now the key is who's our spin tackle.
I think I forgot the depth chart today. I was looking at it. I forgot who was the guard.
Or is it?
No, it's not Zudu. Yeah. I forgot the name. It's one of the new signees. But what worries me, and we talk about this, all those Brian Burns free looks.
Yes.
The amount of time Daniel Jones would have died already. Is insane.
Absolutely. The one where he moved inside on Illuminor, it was like a
when he spun inside and then he almost hit him and then he swung
and
out.
He just like moved away because like I got.
And Daniel Jones did not see him.
No, he did not see it. He was looking at the other side. He was going through his progression, and then
he would have died.
Now he sees the right side.
He would have died. Yeah, he would have been out for the season. That would have been. And that's what scares us.
Yeah,
but. You know what? We'll see as time comes. I'm very excited to see the Giants play the Lions this week.
I heard he was pretty physical.
Daniel Jones, he grew up here, man. He stood up for his lineman.
Yeah.
He pushed a guy down. He stood up. He finally became a man.
And he's been more vocal with the team also. So when I hope so. I hope this is his Eli year. That's why I like when I was in the training camp and I was talking to more players. Like, hey, how's DJ? Like, yeah, he's more vocal. Like, they just kind of say that he's taking that leadership role because once Barkley's gone, there is nobody in the offensive side. AT is not.
Bro, nobody respects him.
Nah, that's not true, bro.
No, but look, yo,
I mean,
look at this, okay?
outside, like
Not,
outside the locker
no,
room, yeah.
I'm not saying Giants or
Yeah,
Giants fan.
yeah.
I'm talking about NFL and everything connected to
Mhm.
NFL. One, Madden 25 rated him below 32 other quarterbacks, and he's a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And he's rated below rookies who have not played a single snap.
But
It's disrespectful
it
to
is.
so many levels.
Yeah,
So
but
many levels.
how can you like measure someone who played only 6 games, right? Like that's another thing. And then they would
Over
factor.
rookies, though. Even
Yeah.
over rookies. Like, you're telling me that in the history of NFL, besides CJ Stroud, how many rookie quarterbacks actually excelled?
Hardly. The first year, hardly. And sometimes they play very good on first year, and then they just go down the hill, you know. So
I mean, again, one can argue he hasn't proved himself. He hasn't scored. He hasn't thrown more than 24 touchdowns since his rookie year.
Yeah.
He hasn't scored more than 15 touchdowns ever since then. Yes, I agree with everything. We're Giant fans. We agree with that. We are also disappointed with everything Daniel Jones. But now we're getting to the best part, which is our number 6 overall pick, Mr. Malik Nabers from LSU. Number 9 for now.
Dude, that man is special. That kid is special. I mean,
he's old.
Every practice videos and the practice. I've been to 2 practice and I've seen him. He literally comes as he's like playing in a league for 5 years. Like that's how good he's running the routes. He's beating Tay Banks every snap. Now again, same thing. Is Tay Banks that bad or he's that good?
No, because
and
if there's one thing we know, Tay Banks is the only cornerback to hold the number 4th overall pick from this year in college.
Yeah.
Oh, Marvin Harrison Jr. Yes, Tay Banks owned him 2 times.
Yep. But the other good thing is today's practice, Malik Nabers showed other cornerbacks. He was burning them. So
that catch behind his back when he caught that and he fell. Beautiful catch.
The catch, everything was perfect. It was like really. I love the chemistry he's building between Daniel Jones and Malik Nabers, which he never had. Like he had Darius Slay 6th round pick, and when they were playing well, they were playing really well. And now you have this dog.
Darius Slayton has been the best wide receiver for the Giants the entire Daniel Jones career.
Yeah, he's the only one
and he's not good. But we know where he came from, so we like him for that aspect.
I mean, 6th round pick, and he still was better than most of the wide receivers that we had. So yeah, it makes a big difference. Yeah.
No, I am definitely excited to see Nabers because now, even though we lost Barkley, I think having a dynamic wide receiver in today's game is much more valuable than having a running back.
Mm-hmm.
It helps not only the quarterback ease up, and it scares the living shit about defenses because they have to drop back now. They have to play double coverage, triple coverage. That way, and this is where the excitement comes from. I think Malik Nabers is going to be great this year, but even better in the future. But people are discounting, and I've been very big on this guy, Wan'Dale Robinson.
I was going to say the exact same thing. I'm like, he is poised for an amazing year. That man, he put on weight, he put on muscles. He became stronger. He's still fast.
He's one of the best route runners.
He's amazing.
He's just been hurt. And he had poor delivery and quarterback play. Like Tommy Cutlass. Oh, God. Big thing for New York, but he was so bad as a quarterback. He was so bad, and so was Tyrod Taylor. But Wan'Dale and another year of Hyatt, I think Daniel Jones... I know this is a bold prediction, but he can finish as a top 10 fantasy quarterback this year.
I agree. And I think somebody also rated him that people are not looking at from a different lens. I forgot who it was, but he put Daniel Jones as top 10 fantasy quarterback. And he said, you will be surprised what he's going to do, because he compared this trio very similar to OBJ, Sterling Shepard and Victor Cruz. So these kids can develop into those 3, which all 3 of them had a very different dynamic.
I just feel like we never got a chance to see Victor Cruz and OBJ because as soon as OBJ started popping off, Game 4 was OBJ's welcome party.
Mm-hmm.
No, Game 5 was OBJ's welcome party, and Game 6 was when Victor Cruz was in the end zone and he tore his leg. Yeah. And he was out, and we never got to see a healthy Victor Cruz again.
I think I'm talking about skill set point of view, right? Like they all three offer different skill sets. And I think that's probably what's going to help Daniel Jones. It's going to help him because if you focus on Malik Nabers, now you have Hyatt and you have Wandale Robinson. And you can spread out.
Again, with Hyatt, when we're looking at the play, I don't know if Hyatt is being used as anything more than a 4 wide receiver package.
I think they were playing a lot of 12-man, 11 package, 12 package. So, but they were also...
Is that because Theo Johnson was hurt?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that was the reason. And then now Theo's back, so that's another weapon they can utilize.
Yo, he's massive.
I saw him personally. Did you see him?
6'7", bro. I know. I saw him wrestling there. Even from far, I was looking. I was like, yo.
He came when I was there with the kids, and I'm like, oh my god, like he's as big as Dexter Lawrence.
Nah, Dexter is big in this a different way. This guy is
physically, like the height wise, he's big. He's very big and strong.
And I'm excited about him because even though he went in the 4th round in drafts, no tight ends are really going to go. I know Brock Bowers went because he's a different kind of beast. He's definitely different beast. But Theo Johnson, he has Sam Laporta type skill set.
Yes, he does. And I think they're going to use him a lot in red zone.
We have Belly too.
Yeah, they're definitely going to use him. Because he can, you throw, so Daniel is very similar to Eli when it comes to end zone. He likes to throw a little bit higher. And with his height and jump, he can beat any linebacker and cornerback easily.
I am just worried that there's still like a little hesitation in his throwing when it comes to full game speed because call it what you may, but no matter how strong these guys are, sometimes that trauma, the physical pain trauma can...
The mental, it's a mental thing. If he's not there mentally, no matter how much protection, I think it's going to be tough. So if he's mentally strong...
will show. Week 1, the first snap will show exactly... how far is he? Like, unless he just takes it, throws deep, Malik Nabers takes it to the house, touchdown, great.
That's it, yep.
Breaks out for a 25-yard run, gets up, points up, anything, great. Yeah. So, I am excited for that, but definitely I am excited for Malik Nabers. I'm very excited for Wandale Robinson. That's somebody I'm going to keep batting for this season. I think
the sleeper on Giants wide receiver course.
He is the sleeper.
Yeah, he's definitely a sleeper.
Who do you think is the third wide receiver to be good fantasy wise and just stats wise this year? Slayton or Hyatt?
I would go with Slayton because he's a burner, an outside burner, right? So, and just because the chemistry between DJ and Slay is there from the day one, when he's gonna have a chance, he's gonna throw it to Slay. I have a feeling that he will utilize his speed because now he's.
But Slater needs to freaking learn how to catch with his hands, bro.
Yeah. I mean, he's been inconsistent always, so hopefully, he holds it in. But I personally think because the chemistry is already there, I'm not saying he's going to take it away from Hyatt, but they both are speedster, right? But on outside, I've always seen Slay is a burner. He's really good. Like, that guy's fast. I've seen him. I mean, when we went to the game, remember he was taking the ball and just missed one guy and then he took it to house.
Yeah, really quick guy. No one's questioning his speed. Yeah. Giants have speed. They have all 4 wide receiver at top of the top tier speed.
The practice, initial 2-3 practice were so off for DJ because he came back for injury. Now he has all the speedsters, so he had to adjust the timing, right? And I think that was what I was feeling, that he needs to adjust to the speed. And then later on, we saw that he was getting better with the timing. He had a good...
as long as he doesn't die by the O-line fucking it up.
I mean, that's the biggest question anyways, right? Like, we can talk about wide receiver, we can talk about DJ, but one thing we don't know, it's the offensive line. So we have to see how well...
No, it's any play... Okay, I have seen DJ make mistakes, and we have roasted him. And we've roasted him. And he's also done very good plays. And again, this is practice, this is training camp, but most of the fault is on the O-line.
Yeah.
It's strictly on the O-line. I don't have any other complaint except the worry of the O-line. Now, let's jump off the Giants and go towards fantasy. But before I jump off, I want to ask one more final question, which is, if everything gels and the O-line is just say average, what do you predict Giants season to be like?
If the O-line is average, so between, let's say, they're ranked 16, 17.
18 to 15.
Yeah.
18 to 15. 15 to 18, yeah.
Yeah, so I would say we can definitely look at around 9 wins and a possible playoff, so wild card. I'm not saying it's not possible, but if the line holds up and we are able to score, because this year schedule is not that easy. We have some really good teams.
I think we should win week 1 for sure against the Vikings.
Yeah. First
rookie quarterback.
No way. Washington should be a win.
I think both the Washington wins should be a win.
Yeah, I mean, but their team's building up pretty strong, so I wouldn't just...
What is year one of everything?
Yeah.
Year one of president, year of GM, year of coach, year one of offensive coordinator, year one of defensive coordinator, quarterback, wide receivers, running back, O-line. It's everything's year one. Commanders, we own them.
Yeah.
We have owned them no matter what.
Been really good there. Whether he plays here or there, he's always...
He was against the Commanders and he scored 5 touchdowns.
Yeah. So he's always good. But if we do week 1, we win. Week 2, it's a coin of flip, right? Like Dallas.
Nah, we win. Fuck the Cowgirls. Yeah, we winning that shit.
Let's say if we win that's 2. The third week is what we have.
Browns, I think, or Commanders.
No, Commanders are later. We have Bengals.
Okay, no, but I think 9 wins. I think realistically right now, until the O-line shows me anything, I have the Giants at 5 to 6 wins.
Which is realistic, yeah. With the
and if the Giants O-line holds,
if the O-line
I think the defense is going to be amazing.
8 to 9
the defense is going to be. I think defense is going to be top 5 in the league.
Yeah, I agree. The defense, if the O-line holds up, right, average, the defense actually can make big impact.
They can rest,
because
it's all about
not
rest.
Going to be out there that long, and so they don't get exhausted. They'll have time to recover and then go and perform. So it's such a long chain effect. If the line holds up, we can put easily 21 points, let's say, right? If we are maintaining somewhere between 21 to 24 points each game, the defense can show up and we will have close games which we can win. Which I personally think we can win. And I like Singletary signing. Motor's good. His average yard with Barkley, it's pretty much same. But he's a smart runner than Barkley is.
I mean, I would also say Singletary also was in better situations than Barkley.
Yeah. I mean, his lines are better. Yeah.
But if we're looking at Hard Knocks, and I think we should also just rate how you think Hard Knocks was. I want to speak one thing about Hard Knocks. That's what I like. That's one thing I was holding off for. I think Singletary is a very acceptable signing because I think Tracy Jr. is the future.
Yes. He's special. That kid is special.
He is I think he only played running back 1 year and he was insane.
He was a wide receiver first.
So, Hard Knocks, I really enjoyed Hard Knocks. I think every single episode was good. But what was with the Disney ending Giants got at the end?
Which one?
The whole, Matilda, the whole theme music playing in the background, everything is going to be okay now. And it just, I just felt it was too PG. It took me from, we're going to be good to, bro, what? It's like, why am I watching Matilda or Home Alone or something old school type? It just...
I think they probably just made the mood a little bit lighter because Mara and Schoen were next to each other and they were kind of joking, so they threw it in. Probably that might be the effect of it.
Yo, those exchanges were so awkward with Mara and Schoen.
Yeah, but I think they're at a good term. I think people are taking just a little bit out of context.
No, but I do agree. But I think where it comes from, and this is where we need our GM to also be cutthroat and cold-hearted in order for the team's success. And we both agreed that, it's the owner's team and the owners will have input because, hey, I fucking own this shit. I will do whatever. If I have to burn this to the ground like Jerry Jones, I will do it like Jerry Jones. But thank God he's not Jerry Jones. at the same time, I think overall Shane is doing a phenomenal job.
Oh yeah, he's like that silent killer kind of guy. He's like that nice guy, but a couple of times even in Hard Knocks they said the same. Like he said that don't take my kindness as my weakness, and I think he's very shrewd, right? When he was picking up the call from what's his name, the GM from Panther, he's like, let it ring. Like he's not like these are the smart GM thing. Like he was casual about it, he was smiling, but like these are techniques.
He knows how to negotiate.
Like he knows how to negotiate. He goes like, come on.
Yo, can we talk about the fact that he went from 2 first-round picks because we see in Hard to a second and a fifth.
Yep. And the conditional next year. Yeah. That's something special, man. Like he must have negotiated.
And then he calls back. He goes, "Oh, I want another one." And he's like, "No, we're not doing that."
He wanted a 7th, and he goes like, "Man, come on, we're not doing 7. Let's just go back to the same deal we had, and we'll go from there." So we gave 2nd and 5th this year, and I think 6 or 7 next year, something like that. And then this year we got the 4th rounder back or something.
Whatever it is, I think he's a very competent GM, and especially his relationship with Dabols and how he talks to his coaches and he asks them for what they think, especially when they were talking about the quarterbacks. And I'm like, holy shit, we have had this discussion. They're legit having the discussion going like, hey, are these first quarterbacks worth the investment?
Up, yeah. And then ultimately, like if you see, even though they showed that clip, right? Like, oh, would you trade up? And they both said, yeah. Like Mike Kafka said, yeah, I would trade up for Drake May, and
the one and only time you saw Mike Kafka.
Yeah, and then Dave all said he would go up for Jaden Daniels, right? But the good thing is, even John Mara said that if you have a conviction, do whatever you have to do, right? Like that means give out the players, give out the picks. But they are so smart and they're realistic. They're like, yeah, we like the guys, but it's not worth it. We're not gonna sell the house. We're not gonna, bet the mortgage and then get somebody who we cannot even build around. And I think that's very smart. Even though
the
like
risk of the unknown is way too high, especially at how far they are, because they want to stay here. It's not like Shane is like, oh, I'm gonna just draft a quarterback, and if he's not good in the next 2 years, whatever, I'll get a new gig.
Exactly.
He is like, I want to win a ring.
He cares about here. Like he wants to stay here. He sees the ownership. Like they always talk highly of ownership. And then Mara was, and a lot of people like put shit on him all the time. And I'm like, guys, it's an owner. He has to be involved. And then when we saw his post Hard Knocks interview, and he said, look, I'm emotional. So many times when we talk about players, we're not on the same page, but ultimately they are the one who takes the decision. That's their job, and I'm letting them.
I mean, he's an owner and he's also a fan.
Yeah, and exactly, like he is a fan, right? He that's all he learned all his life, like from his dad, right? Like
their royalty, the Giants' royalty.
Exactly, and I'm like, so people needs to realize that, hey, yeah, he is gonna be involved, but he never said that, hey, my say is final. Like, this is it. No, he's like, okay, look, this is what I think. This is what I want to do. But look, if you guys think that this is the right step, go for it. And I think that's the good relation between an owner, a GM, and a coach.
So, I think we're in agreement that Hard Knocks itself, I think it showed Joe Schoen as a very good GM in terms of how he handled the business. And I like the fact that they always had Nabers as the first overall ranked wide receiver.
If Hard Knocks was not there, nobody would know. Like, Dayball can literally adopt Nabers. The guy loved him.
The most impressive thing is Shane predicted.
Yeah.
He's like this
same thing. Like that's exactly he would say that they are picking this, they're picking this, they're picking this, they're taking offensive line. Malik Nabers is going to be there. So he literally said it's Malik Nabers or we're going to trade
Joe. No, yeah. Or he's like, no. He did mention Rome.
Rome Odunze.
But the thing is,
he said he wanted to go back to like 9th, where he can get either
Bears wanted to trade
Odunze or the tight end.
Bowers.
Yeah. So he's like either one, and we will be fine. And they're like, we're not moving.
Because I think the most important thing is that people are like, oh, Giants are stupid. They don't have a quarterback who's going to be throwing to Nabers. you can make all those comments, and I cannot like completely defend it, but at the same time, none of those quarterbacks are a sure thing.
Exactly.
And if you're watching Hard Knocks, that one thing Giants did not have is the flexibility to sign players, because they're still in cap hell because of what the old regime did. At the same time, they didn't have enough draft capital to draft players to make and fill the team to have the potential like teams like Eagles, Bills, and all these great teams have. Carrying all this capital, trading all the old players away. Giants are not in that luxury state. But at the same time, whatever draft pick he was there, he took the player of need at the best player at that position. I know they were showing that they wanted a cornerback very badly in round 2.
They were trying to get the Kool-Aid, and the other guy, they all went, and they're like, no, we're not gonna panic. We're just gonna go with the best safety in the class.
And we got the number one safety in the draft. Number one safety in the draft. And it's crazy how they scouted Theo Johnson, and we see that before. They end up signing him the round 4. They talked to one of the top 50 visits, top 50 or top 30, that they had Phillips. Phillips come. A freaking third-round player. They were so interested in him. They called him here. He was there. They took it their nickel. They addressed every single position of need. I have no complaints. Even though we lost Barkley, fuck you. I have no complaints of the fact and the direction. We are definitely better this year than we were the past 2 years.
Absolutely, 100%. And the biggest if from everything else is just the offensive line. Everything else is getting better. But that depends heavily on the offensive line. And hopefully, as you say, right, even if
the O-line is good,
then we're good.
Then Daniel Jones is alive, and he can probably deliver to Nabers.
And he doesn't have to run that much, hopefully, man.
But I think I like the fact that it'll give him more options, especially when we do motions and when we are basically using so many different schemes and running all the players in different routes. And the fact that Nabers is so versatile to run any route possible, dig, curl, slant, straight, anything single one. I'm really in love with Rondell Robinson. He's somebody that I'm really, really excited about. So now let's move on to fantasy perspective. Now, when it comes to fantasy, what are your formats? What fantasy, like 10 team, 12 team, 14 teams?
I like 12. 12 is better. It's
Okay.
always balanced. 14, I don't mind, because that's when you have to be like very uniquely coming up with a strategy. Like, what are you going to pick based on your, your rank is. I always like to be in the center, so you can kind of always build a balanced team, one strong, one kind of a secondary kind of a thing. But lately I've been getting either like the last end of it or like the beginning. So you might end up getting like really good 1 or 2 or 3 players, and then you have to settle for like the leftovers because you have to wait so long. So
honestly, I'm loving the bottom half of the draft this year, the first round. Because, I mean, if you're looking at consensus, I don't know if you looked at the consensus, but the first consensus ranking, the top 5, I think unanimously everywhere, CBS, Sleeper, NFL.com, Yahoo, ESPN, Fantasy Pros, all these people that are the gurus, CMC is number 1, rightfully so. But I don't know, he's not going to finish number 1. I am just letting you know that's the curse of number 1. He's not going to finish it. CeeDee Lamb is going number 2.
Yep.
Tyreek is number 3. It's toss-up with Amon, Brees, and Bijan. Okay, so now those are the top 5, let's just say top 6. Now you have Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, you have Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs, AJ Brown, you have Derrick Henry, Kyron Williams. You have your option. So I think this year especially, having 2 strong studs in the back end of the draft is much more better than getting a CMC and then coming all the way around to get I don't know if I am comfortable having like Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle as my wide receiver 1 and 2. They're so hit and miss. So are you a wide receiver guy or running back to start off your thing, or you just go with the flow of what's best available?
Last couple of years I've been using wide receiver before running backs, because most of the time running backs do get injured. and then they will have
Yes.
to rely on
There's a
the
higher
second
turnover
one,
rate.
right? Like it's a higher turnover rate. Again, wide receiver also gets hurt, but their injuries are mostly, hamstring or like a minor thing that they can come back after.
Fast twitch
Like
muscles.
it's a quick recovery, where running backs usually have the soft tissue injuries, and which takes longer time, like high ankle or
because they're having like 300-pound men
body.
falling on them.
Like they have to run with like such high weight. So I usually go with like more of an wide receiver, and then start picking up from. So first 2 rounds I usually shoot for the wide receiver, so I try to get the top ones, and then what happens is after
The PPR
round,
studs.
people are gonna go after wide receiver, and they overlook the running backs, and that's where I go running backs, and I get like the stronger ones where teams are utilizing like the double running back packages. Like it's not just one stud. You always go.
Oh, so you like the Lions do with Gibbs and David
Like,
Montgomery.
I
Okay.
had Montgomery, and he gave me more touchdowns than anybody else because he was your goal line guy. So I got that. Then I had who else last year? I forgot, but another running back, which was like not highly ranked, but somehow he performed much better with the touchdowns and all that. So I was able to get something better, which was like a middle of the pack, right? But then my wide receivers were a stud, and then I started tapping into the rookies. Like for example, if I'm talking about rookies, I'll go for like Malik Nabers a little bit later because no one's gonna pick him in first.
Nabers is going right now. Last I looked on ADP, he's going in round 4.
4, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like that's when you
Marvin Harrison Jr. is going in round 2.
2, yeah. I mean, that's projections, and I wouldn't take him in.
No, but a lot of people that actually. Okay, let's just be honest. Many people don't do the research. Many people don't even. They show up to the draft and then they're like, this guy's familiar.
Yeah, and then I'll
let's
take
go
it.
with that.
Yeah.
There's so many times, even in regular redraft leagues, where people are not aware that certain players have changed the teams.
Yeah. And they're like, well, because they still have the old jerseys on Yahoo and all those ones. So they're like, oh yeah, he's still with Miami, or he's still with like New England, but they're actually not sure that he changed.
So, if you want to target, and I don't want you giving a lot of secrets away, but this is just a simple question: would you trust a rookie coming into the league, or would you trust a player changing teams more when it comes to fantasy outlook?
I mean, if it's like somebody like Malik Nabers or a Dunze or Harris Jr., I would go.
Oh, that's good. No, that's good.
Yeah.
So Odunze, who got drafted by the Bears,
yeah.
But Keenan Allen is also there now. So which one?
I would go Dunze over Keenan Allen because there's also.
But Keenan Allen's proven to be
he's
a
amazing.
monster.
Don't get me wrong, but he's gonna be very close to DJ Moore also, right? So they're kind of similar wide receivers. Where Dunze is a more better route runner. I mean, he would be more into like that mid passing game versus the deep. Keenan Allen and DJ Moore is going to take away all those ones, right? So
I feel like Keenan could be the short to mid, like the Deebo Samuels.
Yeah, but
the Deebo Samuel
he's tall though, right? Keenan Allen is a little bit taller.
6 feet.
Yeah.
6 feet.
And I think Adunze is the same. I think they're pretty similar.
6'1", 6'2", I think.
Yeah, so
6'1", I think. I think Malik
I would
Nabers
say
was
Adunze would be more on the slants and the mid kind of tight window passes. He would be utilized a lot. Versus Keenan and DJ Moore are going to be outside. So that's how I see it. So more passing, more quick plays, it's going to be a Dunze. Because you're going to put your better cornerback on who? Rookie or experienced player?
DJ Moore.
Right.
DJ Moore is going to get the best quarterback, yeah.
And then the secondary is going to be with Keenan Allen. So then.
But how many people are going to feed in that offense? Because you got Cole Kmet, you got DJ Moore, you got DeAndre Swift, who got paid too now. He can get paid $1 million. You got Keenan Allen, the old reliable. You got Odunze, and then you also freaking got the rookie quarterback that everybody is questioning his nail polish selection.
And I think the other thing I also see is because it's a new quarterback, that's why I lean more with the younger rookie.
Odunze?
Because they kind of.
They get the chemistry. Yeah,
they get the chemistry.
We're like, you're new, I'm new. Let's stand out.
Build that.
Okay.
And then the older wide receivers comes with some baggage, right? Like the quarterback has to kind of adjust to him because he's senior, he knows more, he's a veteran in the league, and he's a rookie. So that's why if you see, like, DJ did not have really strong connection with Sterling Shepard, but he was really good with Slay because they both were.
No, I think he was good with Sterling Shepard.
He was,
Sterling
but
Shepard
like he was better
unfortunately-
with Darius Slay.
Slayton?
Yeah,
Well, because DJ's game is more
Deep.
go deep.
Mhm.
I got you.
Exactly.
And Shepard was good, and I think Shepard would have been great with DJ. But unfortunately, the luck of New York Giants are
Injuries,
good
man.
players, especially on offense. Yeah, they just get
Injuries.
hurt.
Yep.
So, your Rookie of the Year candidate.
Rookie of the Year candidate. I'm a little biased, but I want to say
Malik Nabers, but
Nabers, yeah.
you know it's a quarterback. It's a quarterback one, so it has to be a
To
quarterback.
be honest, like all three quarterbacks, whether it's Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, or
Drake May. Well, Drake May is not even playing good. He's
Yeah,
behind in the
yeah.
chart.
I don't think, even though Caleb Williams has such a strong team around him, I still think it's not going to be quarterback. It's going to be
I
something.
hope it's not quarterback
yeah.
because it's such a rigged award.
Yeah, I think it's going to be wide receiver between Harrison Jr. or Malik Nabers.
See, I'm excited for Kyler Murray because he can finally just look up and just throw it because everybody's taller than him. So, but we've seen him with Nuke, and Nuke never finished top like 10. I mean, yeah, he finished top 10, and Nuke was amazing.
Yeah.
So if you're putting the rookie aspect in, and rookie do need some time to gel, not every single one is going to come out the gate firing. And maybe, you know what? Maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to beat Puka Nakua's record easily. He has that potential because he has that talent. So does Malik Nabers.
Yep.
But I really don't think Marvin Harrison Jr. ends up being the best one. I think Nabers has a higher chance.
He does.
I'm being biased.
Malik Nabers has a higher ceiling, and he's little raw than Marvin Harrison Jr. Jr. comes with like completely developed player, so he's gonna plug and play, but then his graph is gonna be very slowly, gradually going up. Versus Malik will shoot up because now he's coming from a strong school program per se in
LSU is the
NFL,
best.
and then he was probably, as far as I saw, he was number one. He was above Harrison Jr. for many people. Like a lot of people were saying like my number one is Malik Nabers, and I think that's one of the thing would help him, and he has a chip in the shoulder too because he was sixth. He wanted to be the number one picked up, and he always said in Hard Knocks and the other ones like I love hustling. I'm a gamer. I want to win, and I think it comes with that chip in the shoulder. So
he hates losing more than he likes winning.
Yeah, so he's like, I hate losing, right? And rightfully so. That's your personality. So I think he's gonna go out and fight every rep. And yak wise, I think he was number one compared to the other two. So Harrison was a great route runner, good catcher, but his yaks were not that good. Adunze was very physical, so he opens up himself for bigger hits, versus Malik Nabers has a better yak, but he also protects his body. That's how I see it, that he would be, the rookie of the year.
I think at the end of the day, even if his stats are good, it'll be more so the record will speak louder.
Yeah.
So if Giants are 4 wins and he has like 1,400 yards, I don't know if he's gonna. I mean, he should. If he has 1,400 yards and Giants are 4 wins, then give him the MVP.
Yeah, exactly. He would still get it.
Speaking of that, do you think Patrick Mahomes is gonna win his third one or third, fourth? How many MVPs does he have now?
He has 2, right? Or 3?
Well, he has 3 rings. I think 2 MVPs.
2
Yeah,
MVPs. Yeah, ring. He has 3. I thought he was. Somebody else who was MVP.
So you think Mahomes or Lamar will repeat as MVP this year?
Mahomes, I think. Lamar, I don't think so.
You heard about the new no cheat motion, right? The no cheat motion rule they had?
No, what is that?
So the motion is basically when, how Tyreek Hill used to come out running the jet sweep and then run full speed horizontal, going behind the wide receiver. And when you're doing that, you're basically blocking the angle of the DB to seeing which way you're going, so they can't pick up the speed for your speed. So when Tyreek comes off horizontal before the snap, or especially at the snap, he's running at a 4.3 speed, full speed, passing the DB so easily, causing the DB to hold him, causing the DB to either lose track of him, and he just burns them, catch, and made Tua Tagovailoa mad money because of Tyreek Hill.
Right.
Now they're not allowing that anymore. They're not allowing the whole motion to full speed. So they got rid of that, which I think can help the defensive back a lot to catch up the speed. But at the same time, they have the hip rule, the drop hip rule, tackle now that they got rid of. So if the wide receivers just turn the hip and the DB tackles, that's a penalty.
So they have to go for the knees, and that's gonna cause more injuries. Oh my god. Yeah.
No, well, not even injuries. It's just going to be defensive backs are now going to be.
I mean, they
very
got one plus, then they got another negative. I think that's how.
Those stats are going to be definitely boosted higher. So yeah, I think Patrick Mahomes is my favorite for MVP this year because it's just everything is set up for his. Sad as much as I want Giants to go far and win it, I just don't think they're ready yet.
I agree.
Realistically, let's just be. I think there's a higher chance of Mahomes repeating than Giants go to the Super Bowl right now. I wish, prove me wrong, Danny Jones. But before we end, few more questions. Are you superstitious?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. But I do tend to wear, like if I wear a jersey and we win, I'll repeat that. Just for
superstition, bro. It's superstition.
But it's not that I didn't wear it and I lost it. Like I would say, hey, you know what? I wore this one. I'll continue wearing this one.
It's just to keep the motivation.
Yeah, it's just fun. Yeah, it's a little thing.
If my team won in this, let's just see if I can support my team in this. And if it doesn't happen, whatever, my team sucks.
Like my wife would say, oh, did you wear the same jersey? I'm like, yeah. And if not, then she goes like, oh, go change. You know, like she's superstitious.
No, it honestly, it has happened before too. Even though I'm not that superstitious, I do knock on wood and stuff. But when the Giants, it has happened where I didn't wear the jersey and the Giants end up losing. I'm like, did I do this? I'm like, did I have the power to ruin my fantasy and my favorite team?
Come up with the reasoning behind it. Like, I should have worn the other one or that jersey.
Okay, so to finish this, if you had a choice of 1 to 12 draft spot, where would you pick?
5 or 6.
Okay, right in the middle.
Right in the middle, yeah.
Okay, that's so right in the middle. I know if you know who it is, it's gonna be a wide receiver. Jabbar Chase, Chuck Jefferson, Amon St. Brown. We have all the cream pie.
Perfect ones. Yep.
So when is your next or your first draft?
September 3rd.
Ooh, okay. Towards the end. And how many leagues are you gonna be in?
I'm gonna be doing 3 this year.
Okay,
I usually stick to 3. I don't want to go more because then it's too much work. Yeah.
Then it becomes annoying. Then it becomes boring because then you have like basically the same player
what happens is it takes away your focus because now you have so many, and then if you're winning on 1 or 2, you kind of put the other one in the back burner. So I usually go and divide equally 3, and then during the game I do the sports betting, so those are fun. But league wise, I just do 3. I don't do more than that.
So the biggest debate, and I think this is where a lot of people differ, do you like to target an early quarterback, or do you like to target a quarterback with potential to be a league winner, or streaming quarterbacks?
I usually go quarterbacks a little bit later because a lot of rush happens to get Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Herbert,
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, and
I think CJ Stroud now. I think those are the top 5
those are like 4 or
quarterbacks.
5's gonna go, but that's gonna happen either in 3rd or 4th round. So you still end up getting good quarterbacks in 5th or 6th round. And I think by then I'm stacking up my wide receivers and running backs. And then after, I think 6th round, people kind of tend to also tap into like the defense, the top defense, or the kicker.
Yeah, what's up with that?
And I'm like,
I don't. Honestly speaking, nobody with sense should target a defense. 10th round is the earliest.
Yeah. And they do it, and that kind of gives me to stack up players. Then I start. Sometimes I do like handcuffs on the running back or the wide receivers. Usually I do it on the running backs, just in case somebody gets injured. Then I have the player already, and then I'll start targeting tight end, defense, and kicker at the end. Because tight ends are, again, same thing. People would spend high rounds on Kelsey, Kittle, Laporta, and all those ones. But you can still walk away
if people have been paying attention, no, besides Kelsey, no tight end has finished high, and rookie tight ends have been killing it.
Mm-hmm. And I actually got my tight end in very late round. That was Njoku. And he had a season, man. He had a good touchdown.
Oh, Njoku pissed me off, man. I gave up on him too early. No, but Cole Clement helped me out.
That's good.
But no, are you excited for fantasy this year?
I'm very excited, man. A lot of new players, a lot of new offensive players, so I'm very excited.
It's literally one more month till we actually have kickoff.
Oh yeah, I mean the game's starting next week, pretty much. So we're back.
It already started with the Hall of Fame game, but it's exciting time not only for fantasy football to be a football fan and have friends that make poor life decisions like being fans for Eagles and Cowboys. We get to shit on them, and especially watching them, cry when their team crumbles, and we get to say, "I told you so." It's beautiful.
Yes,
it is beautiful. But man, Abhi, thank you so much for joining, man. As we talk basically every single day, but still talking about Giants and talking about more this in depth, just one-on-one. It's a different feeling.
Absolutely,
and I love doing this. Tell people where you're at, what you're doing, anything about yourself.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm on Twitter. I'm in X now, or you can look up on Instagram or TikTok. All the accounts, it's at the Patels USA. On TikTok, it's just at the Patels. But other than everything, all the other social media, I'm at the Patels USA. So you guys can come in. I do a lot of videos with my family. We make fun videos, comedies. We do some lifestyle. For Giants, I'm always on X talking to people, having fun. But now, because I'm a season ticket holder, so I'll be doing a lot more videos on our TikTok and
talking shit in person.
Yeah, and a lot of videos on our other accounts. So hopefully, I can entertain people with those ones. Some pre-game, post-game kind of emotions. So a lot of people will enjoy that. So I'm planning to have more Giants-related content coming out.
I mean, besides the fact that you're a Giants diehard fan and my friend, the most beautiful thing I think is the fact that we get to pass it on to our kids. That's a tradition is dear to us as much as us seeing Super Bowl wins. I think is the fact that our kids will one day be as crazy as we are, and I think that's what we strive for.
Hopefully,
Man, I hope this season is great so you can enjoy, especially you being a season ticket holder. I want you to get your money back and then some more.
Fingers crossed.
And us Giants fans to win. I hope you kill it in fantasy football. Make sure you follow Abhi for his content. It's hilarious. He is somebody that will basically tell you what your age is and you can laugh about it. It's great. We're excited for Giants football season. Fantasy football season is right around the corner. Make sure you like and subscribe. We'll be back, and hopefully Abhi comes back and we'll talk more Giant shit and talk shit about Saquon.
100%, man. Thank you for having me. It's an honor and always fun talking to you, man.
I know, man. Appreciate it, brother. I'll see you later. Peace out.
Take care. Peace out.